Who's in charge back there? Who won?
So we welcome those of you who have been watching Oregon State, Washington State. All right, do we welcome? It's welcome. Okay. Okay. Washington State. Okay. We'd like to welcome those of you that have been watching Washington State's victory over Oregon State 80-68. We are in Seattle for a critical Pac-10 matchup between the Washington Huskies and the Oregon Ducks, along with Dave Harshman. I'm Tom Glasgow. Oregon with the 4-2 lead, grabbing the lead just now off of 2 free throws by Henry Madden. And it's Washington basketball. Donald Watts with it. He scored the game's opening points on a lay. And this is Patrick Femmerling down low to a wide open Jan Wooten, who gets the 2-point shot.
I'll tell you, both teams came out man-to-man, very aggressive in the half-court defense, and the Huskies must shoot and score from the outside if they're going to have any chance today, not just be content to go inside to Todd McCullough.
Starting lineups in today's ball game. Oregon coming in at 11-10. Traveling call on Mike McShane. Starting lineup for the Oregon Ducks, Henry Madden, the team's leading scorer at about 14 points, actually 12.5 points per contest. Hartenstein, McShane, Tarek Brown, and Jamar Curry for the Huskies. Femmerling, Luton, Todd McCullough, one of the top players in the country, Jan Wooten, and Donald Watts. McCullough on the inside, fouled by Hartenstein.
Well, I asked before the game some of the people from Oregon if they thought Hartenstein would start, simply because the last time Todd McCullough had such a great game, 14 for 15 from the floor, they need Hartenstein's bulk out there, 6'9", about 260, although he is a true freshman. But you've got to have somebody that can bang inside with the Huskies if you're the Ducks.
You're looking at first-year Oregon head coach Ernie Kent, a former Oregon player, a kamikaze kid in the early 70s under Dick Harder. He had a very successful tenure of 6 years at St. Mary's before moving on up to Eugene. So McCullough unable to get the job done at the free throw line, and the score remains tied at 4.
Both teams very active in their half-court man-to-man. You know, Oregon State had some success the other night when they went to their zone against the Huskies.
Madden from three-point range, and Oregon does not hesitate firing up the three-point shot on their first possession of this ball game. They took 3 threes, missed all of them. But that showed that they are ready to let it fly from beyond the arc. Turnover Washington, and here come the Ducks. Curry, reverse lay, and gets it. Jamar Curry, pretty move on the baseline.
Curry, one of those guys that kind of is a wing and a guard. He can do a lot of things, hurt you from the outside, but very explosive going to the basket.
Oregon up 5.
The other night, Todd McCullough only saw the ball for 5 shots, all in the first half against Oregon State.
Wooten working on Brown, kicking it out to McCullough inside, and Todd gets the ball that close to the hoop. It's over and done.
He made a great play because the ball was really behind him, but he's got such great hands. He caught the ball and made the adjustment and laid it up.
McCullough, the top field goal shooter in the nation percentage-wise at 66%. Averaging just under 19 points per game.
Very unassuming. You know, Todd figures, he says, where I shoot the ball, I should make that high a percentage, if you will.
Madden with the air ball. We are underway in Seattle. A border war, you bet. Washington against Oregon. More coming up on Fox Sports Northwest. Welcome back to Edmondson Pavilion in Seattle. The Washington Huskies taking on the Oregon Ducks. A critical game for the Huskies in their bid to grab an NCAA tournament berth.
Tarek Brown checking Donald Watts just like in the playground when they were growing up.
Watts about 2 months older, both born in 1977, sons of former ex-Supersonics. Off the Jan Wooten Moose, here comes Tarek. Back rim rebound by McCullough. Dion Luton. Rebounded by Izmir Roseman, who's in the game for the Ducks, replacing Mike McShane, also in A.D. Smith with the basketball.
Both of those two have given the Ducks quality minutes off the bench this year. In fact, A.D. Smith started the last game down in Oregon when the Huskies defeated the Ducks.
Roseman getting it. Nothing but net for three.
Very good looking shooter. Gives him more quickness, not the height, but more quickness with the ball and a three-point shooting threat than McShane.
This here Roseman, who hit some critical three-point shots in the Ducks' upset of UCLA last week in Eugene. Sophomore from Georgia.
Ducks look like they're in some type of a matchup right now.
Watts posting up the smaller Brown, getting the offensive rebound and putting it home.
Well, Ernie can't like that because Donald Watts shot the ball from the right side of the basket, went to the left side and got the rebound.
Roseman
had a good look at it.
He did. Unable to make it two in a row from three-point range. McCullough wide open inside, fouled by Hartenstein.
Yeah, and that's his second foul. And not a smart foul. You know, there's an experienced player in McCullough against Hartenstein, who's a freshman, but here, Hartenstein, you can see him just coming into the picture right there, gets back late. Don't go club the guy. If anything, make him shoot the ball over you and make it a tough shot, but clearly he makes the contact.
It could have been a three-point play for Todd McCullough, who had huge numbers in Washington's 81-71 win in Eugene on January 15. 31 points, 15 rebounds, made 14 of 15 shots. It's free throw
and
number one.
I believe Todd has 11 double-doubles this year, so you know he's well on his way to having another tremendous year, and he's got to do it in the stretch run if the Huskies are going to have any chance to get to the big dance this year. They're tired of going to the NIT.
McCullough hitting both free throws. Huskies down by 2. New players in for the Ducks. Jonathan Nelson, number 44, number 13, Dante Quinine. And that's a travel on Jamar Curry.
Now, you saw the backdoor cut by Curry, and you can get that on a lot of teams that try to play pressure. But the thing you can't do against Washington is try to go all the way to the basket, because as you see Bob Bender right there, you got the Twin Towers back there playing defense. So what you got to do is catch it, pull up, and shoot the little jump shot.
Bob Bender in his 5th year with the Huskies, closing in on a 500 career record in Seattle at 62-69. Patrick Femerling finding Watts wide open, three-point range, NBA range. But Watts gets it. Boy, he has really developed, David, this year in his confidence shooting from the outside, and that's evidence right there.
It really is. And early in the year, it started out by hitting those clutch shots against St. Mary's, one to take the game in overtime and one to win it. And I think that really catapulted his confidence on his outside game.
This here Roseman, wheeling, dealing, can't get the deuce. Rebound by McCullough.
Probably a little too much one-on-one there for Ernie Kent's liking.
Luton showing some elevation, but the foul before by Jamar Curry.
You talk about elevation. This is great one-step quickness. Watch him rip the ball through, go baseline, 2 dribbles, take off outside the paint, and just fly to the basket. Here we see the low angle. That's nice. Do you remember when you used to do that?
Yeah, on an 8-foot basket.
Well, I wasn't going to say how high it was.
Phalo Green in the game for the Washington Huskies, giving McCullough a breather. Green, a former Oregon Player of the Year and teammate at South Salem High School with Oregon point guard Mike McShane, who's returned. Luton going for 3. Missing. The team leader in field goals made for the Huskies, Dion Luton.
Well, before that shot, Dion had taken 153 threes coming in. Tarek Brown had taken 137 for Oregon. Clearly both the team leaders by a long shot.
Well, Tarek, as you watch his game, I mean, he clearly looks for the 3 more than anything. Traveling inside against Jonathan Nelson.
Yeah, Tarek is, if you looked at it, you'd see, well, this guy's got to be a point guard because he's not the tallest kid on the floor, but yet he's a scorer. He's their 2 or their shooting guard.
4th turnover against the Oregon Ducks. Washington with 3. And Chris Thompson into the ball game for the first time for the Huskies as Wooten takes a blow. And that's Thompson with the basketball out of Edmonds Woodway High School in Edmonds, Washington. Luton stripped, but Washington maintaining possession. Watts, nice double pump inside.
He's doing such a great job. First step quickness, drives the defense back. Then once they cut him off and overshift, he just stepped through underneath. And the nice little runner, I guess you'd call it, off the baseline.
Foul away from the ball. We have a timeout with the Dogs up 3 against the Ducks. Ernie Kent will talk it over with his group. Nine for Donald.
Watts is now 4 for 5, 9 points, and a rebound. Scoring runs now 9-0 in the last 2.5 minutes.
When you get a stat sheet like that, just give it to me, will you? Nice chair.
Take a free ride. How we doing, boys? Okay. All right. I don't have the copy, but I'm sure Ron will hand it to me. Okay. Score and then promo, or promo first? Kurt, score then promo, or promo first? Okay.
60 to 36.
Thanks to a 9-0 scoring run, the Washington Huskies are leading the Oregon Ducks 15 to 12. We are there when you're looking for the stories, all the sports inside and out. Fox Sports News tonight at 10 on Fox Sports Northwest. Husky basketball trying to keep that run going over the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Washington outscoring Oregon 9-0. McShane with a deflection out of bounds.
Well, the Huskies doing a better job in the half court of getting everybody involved, where I think Oregon has gotten a little too much one-on-one. Although right now the Ducks have no answer for Donald Watts.
Watts with 9 points on 4 of 5 shooting. Luton spinning inside, blocked by Nelson. Foul on McShane, however.
Well, you didn't see the start, but again, first step quickness, and there's Dion. What happens is when you're a defender and you overshift like that, he's just going to reverse on the spin move and go up for the shot. And he, as we talked about earlier, he can elevate.
Dion Luton, a 69% free throw shooter out of Dale City, Oklahoma. Washington's lead up to 5. The scoring run now 11-0. Here's Thompson on Mike McShane, who has done a better job lately of becoming more offensive minded as A.D. Smith lets it fly from beyond the arc. Benign with the offensive board.
Here's the problem for the Ducks. They really have no inside game at all. So they're just looking for penetration, number 1. Number 2, they're looking for, as there's a double dribble called. With the other thing I was going to say, they're looking for the three-point shot.
Well, A.D. Smith, who just missed that three-pointer, as you look at the Washington scoring run, is the top three-point shooter percentage-wise on the Ducks roster at 42%. Oregon with 6 turnovers, Huskies with 3.
Yeah, AD had only taken 33 attempts, so coming in to 137 for Tarek. So you know Tarek's going to get his his number of shots up.
Luton with the travel. Washington with turnover number 4.
You got Todd McCullough coming back in and Michael Johnson for Donald Watts. He did a little skip right there before he put the ball on the floor.
Picked up the left foot. As you look at Dion Luton, he's really become a more of a team-oriented player this season, Dave. His assists total of 59 this year, already surpassing a total of 31 all of last season. So he's getting a better idea of what Bob Bender wants him to do.
Understanding how to play the game, and you know, the guy still is a scorer, though. He can really put the ball in the hole.
Nice tip by Nelson following the missed shot by Quinine.
Reaches across with the left hand and kind of backhands the ball into the basket. Quinine with a very athletic move.
So that ends the scoring run for Washington. Thalo Green out of control, colliding. McShane unable to track it down, and the Huskies will maintain the basketball.
Yeah, he and
I guess that's called incidental contact.
Well, something like that. I thought it was a first down. Tarek Brown thought it was a freight train.
Michael Johnson, quick touch with the basketball. Freshman out of Ballard High School in the Seattle area. State's all-time leading scorer at larger-sized high schools. Tough pass inside by Green. McCullough somehow picks it up, gets the hoop and the hack. Great hands by the big fella.
Yeah, he does. I mean, generally, if the ball gets in Todd's vicinity and he can get a hand on it, he's going to pick it up and score with it.
That should have been an Oregon steal.
It is. Well, actually, there really wasn't a pass there. Thalo kind of threaded the needle, and Todd, big, strong, and soft hands.
McCullough shooting the same exact percentage at the line that he does from the floor, 66%. Completes the three-point play, and Washington with a 6-point lead. Fell on that entry pass going against McCullough. First personal, Donald Watts returning to the Husky lineup, replacing Dion Luton, and you see the great start that Watts has had in this ball game. Donald very busy the other night against Oregon State at the free throw line. 20 attempts, made 16 of them. A.D. Smith going strong inside against McCullough.
Yeah, just a little pick and nobody switched there. I think the game down in Eugene really started Donald on his scoring trip, if you will. You know, he went to the line 20 times in that game, so he's done a much better job of making people check him off the dribble.
Well, what he did so well in that game was penetrating, and that's one concern Ernie Kent had coming in. Easy shots he felt were a big problem in the 10-point loss to Washington down in Eugene, as McShane nearly comes up with a steal. Michael Johnson unable to get the shot off, and nice anticipation by Tarek Brown to get the steal.
Yeah, you know, Oregon's problem is not on the defensive end. In fact, even though they scored 97 points against UCLA, they played much better defense. That's won in the ball game.
Nelson not an outside threat, so McCullough sagged off the off balance turn to the hoop. Ball last touched by Todd, and it'll be Oregon basketball as Henry Madden and Jamar Curry return to the Ducks lineup, replacing.
Well, here's one of the problems right there. As you see the end, excuse me, Tom, you see the end of the play right there, and then Todd gets his hands on it and knocks the ball out of bounds. But the thing is Nelson doesn't even look at the basket from about 17 feet. He's got to be in close.
Nelson and Quinine going to the Oregon bench, and Patrick Femmerling getting ready to return for Washington. McShane with the ball, shot clock down to 1. And they won't get it off. Good defense by Washington, and not real good clock awareness by the Ducks. Ernie Kent can't be pleased about that.
You know, whether it's a 24-second or a 35-second clock, you got to be aware. One thing I learned when I was in the NBA is to have a signal when it gets down to a certain, what some people used to say 8 seconds, some said 7 seconds. I remember, I think our call was blue. Anytime we knew it was blue, we knew we had to get a shot off.
Watts misfiring from a spot he hit from earlier. Donald going to the shaved look this week. Like father, like son. Slick made that look popular in the Seattle area about 25 years ago.
Yeah, but no headband for Donald.
Shot clock at 10 for the Huskies.
Acrobatic.
Unbelievable. Donald Watts with 11 points, and those were clearly the toughest two. 22nd timeout, and Ernie Kent all over Mike McShane about the penetration, I'm sure, of that gentleman's son.
Well, you know what? Mike McShane does not have the physical attributes to stay with. Now, what he's saying is that you didn't close the gate there. You were the help guy. You got to close the gate and make Donald kick the ball back out, and we'll take our chances on the three. And that's what he's getting on McShane about, because it wasn't McShane's man, because McShane does not have the quickness to stay with a lot of people. Madden was on him that time.
Last meeting between these two clubs, Oregon up 7 with just over 6 minutes to play, and Washington then went on a 25-8 scoring run, with Watts scoring 14 points in that last 6 minutes and 16 seconds, 8 of 9 at the free throw line.
That was a huge win on the road, and you know, the Huskies found a way to get the job done coming from behind.
We'll see how the Ducks respond out of the timeout. Brown driving against his buddy. Jamar Curry stripped inside by Green. A.D. Smith trying to bounce the basketball off of Donald Watts' feet, and Donald just got up off the
Well, too many big trees in there. You got to get the ball up early or get it out of the lane.
Oregon, Washington, good action so far. More coming up on Fox Sports Northwest. Freshman Dan Dickau with the basketball for the Washington Huskies. And he carried the basketball. Just a casual situation where he turned it over and the refs jumped right on it.
Point of emphasis, you see the field goal percentages right there. And although Washington hasn't taken as many shots, much more selective with their shots. Oregon just 2 for 7 from three-point range.
And again, on their first possession, they had 3 shots from beyond the arc, missed all 3. 2 of those misses by Tarek Brown. A.D. Smith won't hesitate to let it fly from three-point range if he gets a look. Brown missing. Nice follow. Tarek Brown
a very
inside.
nice follow. Earlier on the other side of the floor, Patrick Femlin did a great job to help take away the backdoor cut. So Oregon's going to continue to try to exploit that if they can.
Dion Luton stopping and popping, but really not in rhythm on that shot.
Well, and that's a shot you can get anytime when the clock running down. You got to get a better shot than that in your half-court offense.
Smith posting up Green. Green batting the ball away, and Watts coming out of the pack. Dickau going up strong, but again, not a good shot selection for the Huskies. Watts fouling Brown.
Well, you know, Donald knows that Tarek's going to take that three if he gets any glimpse of the basket. So he's trying to get up into him, take that away first. And Tarek knows, hey, he's going to try to get up, take that away. So I want to try to put the ball on the floor and create something for myself or my teammates.
A.D. Smith going to the bench, replaced by Henry Madden. Yasir Rosemond with the basketball back in. McShane heading to the Ducks bench. Madden posting up Green inside. Nelson with a miss. Nice offensive rebound, fouled from behind by Green.
Ernie Kent has got to be pleased with the way Jonathan Nelson's playing, and I'll tell you why. He started the game down in Eugene and didn't play very much because Todd McCullough just took him apart right from the get-go. So Nelson spent the majority of the game on the bench. But he's come in, I think, tonight to prove that, hey, last game was a fluke. I can play with these guys.
Nelson, a 72% free throw shooter, a 6'9" junior out of Lakewood, California. Oregon looking for its 5th consecutive victory, and they have become a factor as far as the NIT is concerned. Probably too little too late as far as the NCAA tournament goes. Well, certainly really not the case for the Huskies.
No, but Oregon, we really have to get on a run, and of course this game is a big one, and then they've got the Arizona schools coming in next week.
There's Luton, just 8 seconds into the shot clock, letting it fly from three-point range, and Bob Bender gave a look down his bench like, I got to go get somebody and have a talk with Dion. Foul inside.
I was trying to see what the call was. I think it was on Dan Dickow.
Minning schedule for Oregon. Of course, it's not easy for anybody taking on the Wildcats. Stanford tough. Closing out with 3 games on the road won't be easy.
3 games on the road plus Oregon, plus Arizona. And I tell you, don't look by Arizona State either, who just lost by 1 today in Tempe to the Wildcats.
Jan Wooten in. Dion Luton out. That last foul by Washington, by the way, committed by Dan Dickow, his first. And Nelson will give it another try after missing his first free throws in this ball game.
Femmerling in the lane early, but it doesn't matter when the ball goes through the hole.
So the free throw pulls the Ducks within 3.
See, right now, even with Femmerling in the game, the Huskies don't throw him the ball very much because he doesn't look to score like Todd McCullough does. He's more of a passer.
Bender would like him to get the ball down low and look for some more offense, especially with McCullough out of the game. It gives Femmerling, that is, some room to operate down low. Wooten fouled.
You know, that's about, here's the baseline drive right here, Jan Wooten. This is about, I'd say, the 5th or 6th time that the Huskies have either started out to the outside and then put the ball on the floor on the crossover move and taken it to the baseline, or just caught the ball and gone baseline right away. And Oregon has either had to grab them to keep them from going all the way, or somebody's come over and caused the foul. So Washington doing a much better job of making space in their half-court offense so that people can operate in their one-on-one situations.
Todd McCullough back in, Green out, so the Huskies back with their Twin Peaks look with the 2 7-footers in. Yasir Roseman with the ball, committed that last foul, by the way, on Jan Wooten. Brown, rebounded by Femmerling.
Well, Terry came off the screen and curled it, and he caught the ball. He was open. He didn't even realize he was so wide open. Then he forced the shot.
Nelson committing the foul, coming over to help out from the weak side.
Not a lot of contact, but Washington doing a good job of isolating inside, and Oregon late getting there for the weak side help.
First personal on Nelson. 9th team foul, so Washington just 1 foul away from being able to head to the line in the double bonus situation. Husky lead up to 6. Patrick missing 4 games this year to play for the German national team. Getting the second.
Has improved his games. People who have seen him play, I mean, you know, the average person says, gee, this would probably say this guy's 7'1". He probably ought to be scoring 20 a game or whatever, but that's not Patrick's game right now.
Called for the travel. And we have a timeout at Edmondson Pavilion. Washington up by 7. More Pac-10 hoops coming your way on Fox Sports Northwest. So I thought somebody knocked the ball loose.
Yeah.
I mean, they called the travel, but.
Well, he dribbled it, and he took a hop after he dribbled it, but then he controlled the ball. He didn't try to dribble it after that.
I saw the same thing. It looked like someone knocked the ball out of his hand.
Thanks. That's great.
Do what? Oh, is he here? You know what Sanford's up to? We're going to get a shot of him.
No, I saw him. He's got
CBA or anything?
A big white Mercedes he's driving that he blew all his money on. Where is he sitting? Yeah, I saw him here the other night at the end of the game.
Okay. Well, if he has a wife,
No.
yeah. Not on the Heat roster, right? Washington leading Oregon 26-19 at Edmonton Pavilion in Seattle. You're looking at former Husky Mark Sanford, who was a draft choice second round by the Miami Heat, got a guaranteed contract, did not stick. So the good news from Mark's standpoint, he is getting paid. And many would say he should be playing right now in this basketball game. He left school a year early.
He ought to be playing someplace. You know, that's how you get better. Right now, Huskies still shooting 50% to 35% for Oregon. But Oregon has 14 rebounds to the Huskies 9, yet they have 11 turnovers. There's the big difference.
Dickau drains it from three-point range. Dan Dickau.
I'll tell you the biggest difference in players today is there's no fear. You know, if they're open, they're going to fire the ball. Everybody's got great confidence in their shot.
A 50% three-point shooter. He will be the starting point guard here next season with Wooten and Thompson graduating. Curry inside draws the foul on McCullough.
Well, there's the no fear factor right there. Curry at 6'2", maybe 6'3", taking the ball right at the big guys for Washington.
Second personal on McCullough. Curry does a nice job going in strong.
Well, what he did is he protected the ball on the way up and shot the ball in front of his face, which makes the defense have to come over your back to check the shot. He played his high school ball, Curry did at Jersey City, New Jersey, for Bobby, oh, I just went blank.
Bobby Hurley Sr.
Bobby Hurley Sr., exactly, thank you.
Who would be the father of Bobby Hurley Jr.
Yes, very good.
With the Sacramento Kings. Jamar, not a great free throw shooter, 57%. Lane violation against Patrick Femerling.
Well, you know, the rule this year has changed. We've gone back to the old way that you have to wait till the ball hits the rim. Well, everybody's in there early. If you watch, I'd say 99% of the time, somebody steps in early. As
they did again.
Well, that's the third time he's done it, but he got caught once because Oregon missed the shot.
Curry brings his team within 8.
Chris Walcott in the game now for the Huskies, which is, for their standpoint, is good to see because Chris hasn't been getting a lot of time.
Watts blocked inside by Madden and then going up strong over Henry.
He is really so much stronger. So much, you know, so much what I would call explosive, Tom. You know, he's really getting up much quicker this year.
Donald with 13 points. It's all about confidence, David, with Donald. He just didn't have it here the first 2 years, and he started to play better. The confidence grew, and he just took off.
Well, that plus, you know, his diet changed, and I think that really helped him too in terms of his stamina. He was a chocoholic and a junkie. It was always candy bars and junk food and pop and all that, and he quit drinking carbonated pop and eating candy bars and everything. And he said his energy level just about doubled or tripled.
Washington with the basketball out of that rugby scrum, and Watts wanting to go back to work again on Quinine this time. Walcott started his career here as a walk-on out of Sammamish High School in Bellevue.
Femerling really wanted the ball when he was in the post that time.
Jan Wooten drawing the foul from either Curry or Nelson. Here's that earlier play by Donald Watts. Take a look at the determination inside. Blocked by Madden, and then Donald right back at him.
Makes contact, and then goes up strong. You know who threw him that pass too, you notice, was Patrick Femerling. He was a very good passer for his size.
Donald with 13. Getting ready to watch Jan Wooten go to work at the free throw line. 70%er. He's the other player from New Jersey in this ball game. Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Grew up playing against Brevin Knight, ex-Stanford player who is having his way with the big boys in the NBA.
Washington with its largest lead in the game, up 11. Mike McShane with the basketball for the Ducks. Nelson trying to get something high-low going with Madden. Henry backing in on Walcott. Jump hook short, and Walcott with a rebound, and out breaks Dickow. Stripped by McShane. Nice defensive play by Mike.
Excellent play.
Beautiful passing by the Ducks, but Nelson couldn't control the ball. Jamar Curry says, what do I have to do to set you up, big fella?
The bounce pass to Nelson. In Nelson's defense, you notice how heavily taped his right thumb is, and I think that is part of a problem. But he's trying to catch a bounce pass and go up, and I think he tried to go up with it before he had control of the basketball.
And then he committed his third foul.
There you see the thumb.
He may be on his way to the bench as A.D. Smith is at the scorer's table for Oregon. Chris Walcott, a 61% shooter to the line. Chris getting some starts earlier in the season and really did a nice job for Bob Bender, averaging just over 3 points and 3 rebounds per game. And there's A.D. Smith into the Oregon lineup.
Well, you know, the other night at Washington State, Jonathan Nelson played 20 minutes, had 12 points. A.D. Smith played 30 minutes and had 12 points. So that's 24 points off the bench. It really helps you.
Walcott, nice hustle after missing the free throw. Alternating possession. It's Washington basketball. So up 12 as they get the ball boy out to wipe up some perspiration. The Huskies will give it another go.
Patrick says, no, son, this is how you do it. Then gives him a pat. I love it.
You know, when you're over 7 feet tall, going down to the floor to do that's not the easiest thing. So the Huskies working with a brand new shot clock. Dickow finally finding an open man in Wooten, and right back to Dan. Quinine knocking the ball out of bounds with 15 seconds on the shot clock and 48 seconds left in the half.
I don't know if you could hear Washington assistant Eric Hughes over there. He was yelling back cut, back cut, back cut. Every time that the Huskies came out, took their man high to the top of the key, they wanted to back cut to see if they couldn't get an easy one.
Shot clock at 6 when the ball was thrown out of bounds.
Well, what happened right there? Tough angle for Jan Wooten. You can't. There's actually no angle to throw the ball from the top straight down the lane. So what you need to do is dribble the ball, and he just still had his dribble to the wing and then try to dump the ball back in. 38 seconds left in the half. Ernie Kent bringing in a 3-point threat in Tarek Brown, taking out Quinine. See if the Ducks run it down. Dickow reaching in, committing the foul. Not a smart play. See, that's a freshman play right there, and Bob Bender's not happy because not only does it stop the clock, see, all he's saying is just keep him in front of you. That's all he's telling him, and that's exactly what you want to do. Plus, now you put Oregon in the bonus.
Right. So McShane goes to the line. He shoots a surprisingly low number for a guard, quite frankly, at 59%.
Free throw shooting is repetition in terms of doing it right, plus the concentration factor. You know, I just don't think enough people take time in it, and when they're not shooting it well, then put the time in and doing it mechanically correctly.
And Shane just getting his first point.
See, he just stuck that ball. Had his hand clear over the basketball. Not a good-looking shot.
Bob Bender takes a 20-second timeout to talk over what he wants to get from his team on what he hopes will be a successful last possession in the first half. Tonight it's the last word. Sports radio shock jock Jim Rome from Los Angeles teams up with Wallace Matthews, print prophet from New York City. Sports talk for the fearless. The last word tonight at midnight, right after Fox Sports News on Fox Sports Northwest. Yeah.
Holy cow.
That is not Jim Rome, by the way.
No.
Although it is shocking.
Oh, that's... No, I won't say it.
All right. By the way, that inspires me to say Happy Valentine's Day to everybody.
There's his date.
All right, Washington basketball. Dan Dickow with 20 seconds on the game clock. We'll see if the Huskies execute what their coach drew up for them. Up 11. Looking for Donald Watts to go one-on-one, and he travels. So Oregon now with an opportunity to get the last shot of the half.
I knew that's what they were looking for. The Huskies were probably going to look for Donald on some type of an isolation play in a one-on-one and try to get some penetration, but he traveled, he shuffled his feet before he put the ball on the floor.
A.D. Smith, runner, got the shot off, tough one, and Washington will go to the locker room feeling pretty good about the first 20 minutes. They lead their border war rivals from Eugene by 11 points, 33-22. Halftime coming your way on Fox Sports Northwest. Washington leading Oregon 33-22 as halftime continues at Edmondson Pavilion in Seattle. Big first half for Washington's Donald Watts. David doing it on the inside.
He's got Tarek Brown on him right here. Nice, strong move, but then Oregon doesn't cut him out, and he goes clear to the other side of the basket. Makes a good, strong offensive rebound. Now here's the nice look on the pass out from Fimmerling. Look at where he is. He's out there, NBA three-point range, as you said at that time. Set his feet, knocked it down. 3
of his 13 points, and Todd McCullough, always dangerous when he gets the ball that close to the hoop.
2 for 2 only in the first half, but he makes a great catch and finish, as he always does if he can get his hands on the ball.
Watson McCullough combining for 20, Wooten with 5, Dick Gow with 3, and Dion Luton surprisingly quiet with 2 points, misfiring.
Yeah, only 0 for 4, but 2 for 2 from the line.
Speaking of misfiring, that certainly is a theme for the Oregon Ducks in the first half. Jamar Curry, their leading scorer, with just 6 points, and 2 of them coming on this nice play.
Great baseline slash for Jamar there, and that's what he does very well, although he can't shoot the 3. But here's Henry Madden's only basket. They need to get all their scorers. By that I mean Madden, Curry, and Brown involved this half. They're going to have any chance to come back from this 11-point deficit.
Madden with 5 points in the first game between these two teams down in Eugene. Henry with 25, so he has certainly tailed off. Look at the field goal percentage shooting. Washington 53%, the Ducks with 30.
Clearly, shot selection, I think, is the one. And the Huskies, because they have the threat of being able to go inside, which opens it up more outside, plus Oregon not doing the one thing they really want to do, take away the slashes of Donald Watts and the other Husky perimeter players.
And I'm sure both coaches would like to see their teams do a better job taking care of the basketball. Oregon with 12 turnovers, Washington with 10. And in fact, when it comes to turning the ball over, Washington is 9th in the conference, averaging just over 18 a game. Oregon averaging just over 16 per contest. As you look at the game's leading scorers so far, that's not him, that's Tarek, but you saw for a moment his friend Donald Watts. And Oregon basketball.
After the game, his friend Donald Watts.
They were sharing quite a few laughs prior to the ball game today. Their dads very competitive against each other. Tarek in and out for 3. And Brown and Wooten colliding. And it looks like the officials
and they do have
to get together on
have
this.
A foul on Tarek.
Official Andy Rio says, I have the foul.
Yeah. He actually said, I got the foul, but the way he said it, you knew he had the foul.
And Tarek Brown got the foul.
Tarek,
his second,
got the foul.
See the guard comparison between Brown and Watts. Dominated so far by Donald. Well, assistant coach Byron Boudreau was wide open,
I was
not
just
the man Donald was going for.
I had one of those, I can remember with the Sonics, and Jack Sikma threw me an outlet pass. And I said, nice pass. He said, you were open, weren't you?
Absolutely. Jack was a great passing center. Well, it's going to be very important, I think, David, for Oregon to get something going here early in this half, just to generate some confidence on the offensive end. McShane with a good look, but off the back rim, Curry getting the offensive board.
Well, Dion Luton stood and he knew it. He said, I just stood and watched Curry go to the offensive board. I don't think McShane's the guy you want shooting the 3. I think you got to have Tarek Brown shooting it, Curry shooting it some, and that guy's got to shoot the ball when he gets the opportunity within his range right there, Henry Madden.
7 points for Madden. And Oregon down 9 now, 33-24. Ducks get the first 2 for the second half. Watts drawing the foul. Curry.
Well, the Oregon players are upset because they felt Donald Watts got bailed out on this move. You see Donald take the ball up at the top of the screen right there, go baseline. And when he shot the ball, I thought Curry had his hand out on him out on the drive. But when the ball was shot, he actually was trying to back away there. But Donald misfires, and the first you see Fred Brown right there. Fred Brown is one of the few guys that I've ever been around in basketball who was what I considered a pure shooter. Fred may miss now and then, but it was either long or short, never left or right. Great shooter.
And on the Husky bench, another Fred Brown production. Brian Brown, a walk-on freshman out of Mercer Island High School.
Yep.
Same place where Tarek played, both winning state championships there. Brian a year ago. Henry Madden over the back of Patrick Femmerling.
Now, Henry, I'm looking right at him when he does that, and I'm saying, how can you complain on that when you're trying to come over the back with one arm of a guy who's half a foot taller than you? Doesn't work.
You know, some guys just
Well,
like
you got to go
playing.
for it.
Pressure case. Wooten to Luton. Keon again showing that great explosiveness to the hoop. Unable to finish, however. McShane, nice hesitation, setting up the lane, but he can't finish. Hartenstein throwing it out to Curry. I don't want it. Brown will take it and hit it. 3 points, Tarek Brown.
And Tarek says, let's get going here. Get me the ball more often. He had a great shot to start the second half. The ball went clear down in and popped back out.
Ducks with the first 5 points in this half. McCullough inside. Too close for Oregon's taste. Just close enough as far as Bob Bender's concerned.
One of the best things that Todd does is catches the ball and keeps it high.
Madden for 3. And boy, this can be contagious for the Ducks. If they get on a roll from beyond the arc, that confidence grows, and they're right back in it, down by 5.
You know, the prescription to get you back in is to get real healthy is threes. Take a large amount of threes, knock them down.
Madden, Oregon's leading scorer at 12.5 per game, shooting 36% beyond the arc. He's the only Duck to start every game this season. Wooten! You know, he's a strong guy, and he used that strength to get that shot off, and Watts almost coming up with a steal. Curry picking it up. Madden wanted the foul.
Well, I couldn't tell who came over and disrupted him. It didn't quite get to Todd McCullough.
Watts in rhythm, but he can't get it to go. Ernie Kent really encouraging his club to get it done, get moving. Brown hesitating. Same story for Henry Madden.
I'll tell you, Mike McShane laid an unbelievable pick on Donald Watts on the weak side there to try to free up Tarek Brown.
There's another pick. Femmerling says, not in my doghouse.
No, see, and that's the thing about people don't understand about Patrick Femmerling is because he is so active. He blocks a lot of shots, generally keeps them alive. But look at that. You're not going to get that shot off over a 7-1 guy when you're 6'1".
5 seconds on the shot clock. And Curry fouled by Luton.
Very smart play. Caught the ball and didn't do what I call a rip through. Caught it, ripped it through, and went baseline. Boom, just like that. What you got to do, because the defense doesn't react quick enough, and that's exactly what's going to happen, is you're going to foul the man on the dribble.
Dion Luton not looking real happy about heading to the bench, replaced by Michael Johnson. Madden inside, turning, coming up short, and Johnson with a rebound.
See, there's Todd McCall, not a great shot blocker, but he makes you shoot over him so that you're up a little short there off the front iron.
Wooten resetting the offense at 10 seconds on the shot clock. Not a good pass by Femmerling. You really can't. Well, you can't blame Johnson for the travel. He got the ball in a bad place.
You don't throw the ball to the guy that hard coming right to the basketball.
Timeout here at Edmondson Pavilion. Henry Madden helping the Ducks get back in it. Pac-10 basketball in Seattle has Washington leading Oregon by 7. We are there when you're looking for the stories, all the sports inside and out. Fox Sports News tonight at 10 on Fox Sports Northwest. Foul against Jan Wooten.
Yeah, A.D. Smith checked in now for Oregon. As I said, 12 points in 30 minutes the other night off the bench.
You see Oregon with 6 more shot attempts already this half.
You know, and generally that's a statistic that you'd like to have in your favor. You feel the more attempts you're going to get as a team, the more chances you're going to have to knock it down.
Smith for 3.
What's that? Their third 3 this half, I believe.
Third 3 this half for the Ducks.
Knocks it down to within 4. Lots of time left.
We talked about that becoming contagious. A couple of guys hit threes. McShane with the overplay. He'll go the distance and lay it in.
And you know, McShane isn't the quickest guy, but he is their steals leader coming into this ball game.
Mike McShane pulling Oregon within 2.
A little too much drilling by the Huskies. They need to move the ball off the pass.
Johnson. Rebounded by Brown.
Smith did a great job that time of sealing Femmerling off the offensive board.
Kirk Brown driving. Had a lane. Couldn't get it off. A.D. Smith. 3 more. A.D. Smith. So Brown drives, can't get it off the glass and in, and it works out because Smith drains the 3, and Bob Bender says, we got to talk about it, and we got to talk about it right now.
Yeah, he is not happy, and those 3s again got you very healthy, very quick.
A.D. Smith back-to-back 3s, and the Ducks lead by 1. Oregon leading Washington for the first time in a long time by 1 point, thanks to a flurry of 3-pointers. The 2 most recent ones being delivered by A.D. Smith. And Dave, we've got our second momentum shift in this ball game.
Well, you know, the basketball is a game of streaks or runs, and 16-4 in the first 5:42 of the game, excuse me, the half for the Ducks.
Johnson with a tip inside.
Big, huge one because McCullough was sealed off and Femmerling was shorting his shot.
Washington reclaims the lead. McCullough over the back. Really a silly foul because Hartenstein isn't that much of an offensive threat in that position.
You know, if he beats you to the spot, if you're Todd McCullough, what you got to do is just play behind him, play big, and he's going to throw the ball back out. If Todd McCullough, or excuse me, if Flo Hartenstein tries to take the ball to the basket, you're going to probably bother his shot or if not block it.
Hartenstein, like Femmerling, a native of Germany.
Correct. And I asked Patrick before the game, he said they played against each other one time in a scrimmage.
Well, this is much more important than a scrimmage for both teams. Oregon seeking its 5th consecutive victory, and this is, and I don't think it's an overstatement to call this a critical game for Washington in its attempt to get back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since the mid-'80s. One thing Ernie Kent talked about before the game as Hartenstein travels is wanting to exploit Patrick Femmerling on the perimeter. And on this occasion, with A.D. Smith on the court, they're going to try to work that mismatch out on the wings.
See Hartenstein starting right there, Steen. As you see the Huskies trying to go high-low. But Hartenstein, that last time down for the Ducks, try to do something that maybe he's not that capable of, is to go one-on-one against Todd McCullough.
Foul inside on Henry Madden, his 3rd, 4th team foul. Washington with 3 team fouls this half as you look at Flo Hartenstein and his German countryman now at the free throw line, Patrick Femmerling.
You know, obviously both of these clubs can't afford, because they don't have very much depth, to go get anybody in foul trouble. Right now with Madden with 3, they need him in the game, the Ducks do.
1 out of 2 for Patrick, and Johnson with the steal.
Quinine pivoted the other, or excuse me, not Quinine, Hartenstein pivoted the wrong way, did not even see Michael Johnson.
Lots inside to McCullough. Madden with nice help defense. Couldn't get that one though.
Michael Johnson for the 2nd time now on the offensive boards. One was a tip.
Michael Johnson is what do we get, a push on Chris Thompson, who's come into the ball game. Michael Johnson's a young man. You talk about leaps. He's not in Dion Luton's category, but he can get up quickly. Nice quick hops. There's the foul. Well, Chris Thompson would claim that A.D. Smith knocked him into McShane.
Well, what happened is Flo Hartenstein picked the ball up out at midcourt. Another rookie mistake.
Oregon with the ball down 4. Derek Brown set the pick. Smith, nice ball fake. Brown, wide open look. Big Todd flying at him, but it doesn't deter Derek Brown from getting the hoop, and Brown with 7 points.
I thought McCulloch was going to get to that.
Well, high-low, Femerling to McCulloch, 2.
The last 2 times down, though, Todd has really worked hard to get low post position and taken the ball right to the rack.
Bob Garibaldi calling my time. Mike McShane shaken up a bit.
Here's what I'm talking about. See, he wants the ball. Watch him. One hard dribble, the little bump right there to clear the defense away, and then going up strong off the glass.
McCulloch getting his 11th point. The Oregon trainer will attend to Mike McShane. Yasir Roseman returning to the Oregon lineup to replace Mike.
Dante Quinine with the ball. I like him. I'm surprised he didn't get more minutes.
A.D. Smith going up strong, drawing the foul on McCulloch, which I believe is number 4. Or they call the foul on Watts.
Donald Watts.
Well, I don't know where Donald Watts touched him. Washington has to be very happy about that, because that's only the 2nd foul on Watts. And had McCulloch pick that up, he'd be on his way to the bench.
Let me say this. It's consistency by the officials, though, because they called the same type of foul on the other end when Watts went to the basket. So right or wrong, at least they're consistent in their call.
A.D. Smith, the 8th best free throw shooter in the conference at 81%, getting them both. And Oregon once again back within 2 as Chris Thompson pushes it into the front court for the Huskies. Nice pass by Femerling over to McCulloch.
Does a great job. When you got 2 guys that big, you cannot cover both of them, or most teams can't. Smith did not see Rosemont wide open at the top of the key.
Yasir can shoot it from beyond the arc as well. Quinine, wild left-handed shot, out of control, but he gets the block.
You know,
Patrick Femerling.
I've seen enough Husky games and done enough Husky games this year to know that Patrick Femerling doesn't get the call very often, and he gives his body up a lot for a big guy. You know, I guess the question I have is where's the kid supposed to go? You know, he may be moving forward just a little, but he was clearly in front of the play.
Quinine getting it done at the line. Jonathan Nelson returning right there, number 44. Hartenstein going to the Oregon bench. Dante Quinine, a 6'6" sophomore from Rowland Heights, California, averaging just under 3 points per game.
Well, you've got Curry and Madden and Hartenstein on the bench right now, 3 starters.
Oregon a 3 ball away from tying it. Roseman will try to get that 3. McCulloch with the rebound.
Well, I'll tell you, he had a good look at it.
Approaching the midway point here in the second half. Washington had an 11-point lead at the break, 33-22, and Oregon got a 16-4 run to get right back in it. Lob inside, Femerling with the nice catch.
Well, I thought the idea was very good, and Chris Thompson is going to look for his teammates inside. But he threw this lob pass, get a chance to see where this pass came from. He's out there about 30 feet, which is really a long pass. Almost did not get there, but Femerling did a great job of going up with 2 hands and securing the basketball.
A.D. Smith committing the foul, his second, 15th foul. Femerling shooting 60% at the line. fifth point. Phalo Green checking into the Husky lineup, replacing Todd McCullough.
Good substitution. 10:31 left to go. Give Todd a little break. Bring him back in when there's winning time.
And protect him from that fourth foul a little bit. 5-point Husky lead.
More than anything, the stamina that Todd has exhibited this year, but he's kept out of foul trouble much more this year. Usually in the last 2 years, either one of the big guys or sometimes both have been in foul trouble most games.
Brown going against Watts. They've probably been doing that since they were about 5 years old. Tarek inside, getting the hoop over Donald. Nice body control.
Ernie Kent wanted to foul. He wanted a three-point play.
Well, with McCullough out of the game now, will be interesting to see how the Huskies respond offensively. And hopefully we'll have a replay. Yasir Roseman, I don't know if that was intentional or not.
I don't either. I don't know if he was trying to throw the ball to the official or not, but it hit John Watt squarely in the side of the head.
I don't know if he, let's take a look. Watts gets fouled. Oh, definitely intentional. I mean, there's no accident about that.
How do you not see that?
Well, I guess the only explanation is we didn't see it clearly the first
time.
Well,
I saw it. No, I saw it.
You got three officials out. Well, I did too, but as far as the intentional aspect, obviously the officials didn't either. So Yasir Roseman, an interesting story, down at a game at San Diego State earlier this year, got into a fight, and it cost him one game, automatic NCAA suspension. And the Oregon SID telling us before the game that he is a spirited young man.
Tactfully put.
All right, Watts makes him pay
see, when I was in school, they'd have called it a hothead.
You're old, Dave. What can I tell you? We're in the age of political correctness.
Yeah, I can tell you what you can do with that.
All right, McShane. A.D. Smith with the ball fake on Green. Fanon with the backdoor cut, rejected by Femerling.
Femerling playing strong. Doing a nice job.
For the first time really today, the Husky crowd kind of
woke up,
coming to life in a situation where we're not talking about a made basket. Green's got to get out of the key and does. Shot clock nearing 5, and now at 5. Thompson going against Brown. Nice fake. And the follow. Tip, no good. Hartenstein picking it up.
Thompson did a great job on the shot and the follow, but couldn't get the ball to go.
Now look at McShane, called for traveling. I'm not sure about that one either, to be honest with you, David.
You know, I have not seen McShane exhibit that kind of push with the ball before at all. He really pushed the ball cleanly down the floor that time.
He did a little bit of it in the UCLA game, found some length, but was unable to finish those plays. Now that one he finishes, but gets called with a travel, and Ernie Kent says, come on, my guy just made a nice fake there. Dion Luton returning for the Huskies. Dan Dickow also back in for Washington.
Dion Luton still looking for a basket.
Watts. Now Kent says that's a travel. You didn't call that one. Watts getting the twos.
I couldn't quite see his feet, but it appeared that Donald maybe did a double hop.
Watts up to 17 points. Green committing a foul on Madden.
You couldn't pay me enough to be an official.
It's tough. I think even Bob Bender would admit that.
I think so. I've listened to a few of the fans behind us and their comments.
Washington with an advantage at the line, now by 6 points.
Neither team a great free throw shooting club. I had a game last night. Montana State, #2 in the nation in free throw shooting at almost 79% as a team. That's unbelievable. See See, there's a shot that it's not that it's a bad shot, it's a bad shot at that time in the offense.
So off the Watts miss. Madden had an opportunity but couldn't finish.
And that's exactly what Oregon has to do if they're going to stay in this ball game.
Bob Bender's Huskies up by 5 with a timeout. And there's a young Husky fan, and could that be the future? Mrs. Dave Harshman?
That could possibly be. You never know.
Valentine's Day. What a perfect time to set a date. No comment from Mr. Harshman.
I'm an old guy. Don't push me.
All right.
Everything in due time.
Husky basketball with a 5-point lead.
Well, I don't understand it. She thinks the world of you.
She just doesn't know me. Dion Luton, nice drive on the baseline.
Dion cannot buy a basket. You know what's ironic in all the games? I saw the game the other night here in where Todd McCullough didn't have a good game. Now they're finding a way to win without Dion Luton, one of the big three.
Luton 0 for 6 shooting. Yeah, McCullough the other night against Oregon State in the Husky victory, 84-74, just 5 points and 3 rebounds.
You know, the one thing that the Huskies really do a good job of, when you got guys Femerling size and McCullough size, and you see Todd there on the bench, if you use those screens properly, you're going to get open a lot of times. And Donald and Dion Luton both have learned how to do that.
Donald Watts with his 18th point. Dion Luton struggling, 0 for 6, 2 points, both at the line. Last Oregon foul committed by Jamar Curry was his second, 17th foul, so bonus the rest of the way for the Huskies.
Yeah, Watts
back for both teams.
Watts' 6th free throw attempt, which, you know, is a nice number, but not anywhere near the teens that he's been putting up.
Yeah, it's amazing how often he can get to the free throw line. 20 times the other night against Oregon State, which Eddie Payne wasn't too happy about. McShane again finding a lane, but can't get the ball in the hole. Watts the outlet pass to Luton.
Almost a rim check there when you come up short.
Taylor Green turning into traffic. Well, now we've got a little scramble situation. Watts and A.D. Smith. And you know, this was really ignited with the ball incident with Roseman.
Exactly.
That's what got Donald
just
fired
what I was
up.
going to say, and that's why Donald, as soon as Smith went for the steal, came over Donald right there when the ball's loose. As soon as Donald felt that, he reacted.
Yeah, I think that aggression was being displayed toward Roseman more than it really was A.D. Smith.
And you know, for Donald, one thing he's got to learn is he's an important clock. You got 7 minutes and 8 seconds to go. What happens? Let's just say, worst case scenario, Donald Watts got thrown out of the basketball game.
Now we have Ernie Kent lecturing Andy Rios.
That's not going to work.
I haven't seen a coach change an official's mind yet. Now Ernie's getting all kinds of grief from the Husky fans, and he was kind of encouraging them, go ahead, stand up, let me have it.
Well, the point I was going to try to make, worst case scenario, you lose a guy like Donald Watts, who's not only your leading scorer, but also down the stretch can go to the free throw line.
Well, now we've got Tarek Brown and Donald kind of banging into each other, and Tarek was kind of using his backside to get under Donald. And I think the reason is he knows Donald can explode and jump up and catch the ball right there, and he doesn't want him to do that.
Now they've got Henry Madden on Donald, so somebody's a little bigger.
Luton, misguided shot again. Fairly early in the shot clock. He's 0 for 6, and he lets it fly from three-point range. And Bender's saying, give him a ball fake and drive by him.
See, Bob Garibaldi's saying you cannot cross body block those guys or throw that football block, and that's what they called Mike McShane there for. Well, you know, we were blocked, and you know he held up 2-4, and I didn't know who he was talking about, whether it was Watts or McShane on that. You know, one thing as you see Donald miss that free throw is there could be incidental contact and nothing called.
First free throw miss in the second half for Donald Watts. 4 out of 5 in this half. A.D. Smith. Nice defense by Dion Luton. Well, you know, that's something as a player, you know, you're not getting it done on the offensive end. Focus on your defensive rebounding, defense and rebounding, and try to help your team out that way. But that's a crazy shot right there by Dion.
Well, it almost looked like I'm going to throw it up, and then I'm going to go back and get it off the board.
Watts with the air ball. Dickow can't save it. And the Huskies breaking down on the offensive end.
The other thing, and I don't want to be critical of Dion Luton, but the thing is, the shot that's taken, the kind of shot that was taken, and when it was taken in the sequence. And plenty of time left on the clock, at least 25 seconds on the shot clock.
And the other thing, if you're on a roll, those shots can make sense. But when you're not on a roll, they make no sense.
Well, if they get there. To me, I try to tell kids it's like putting. Got to get the ball to the hole for it to go in.
Roseman back in for Oregon. Watts on Curry. Shot clock inside of 10. Roseman over Dickow, off glass, can't get it. Last touch by Watts, and thought it was last touch by Watts. Apparently not the case. It will be Washington basketball. Jan Luton returning. Dan Dickow heading to the Husky bench. Dickow's a great story. I love this about him. He's a huge Pete Maravich fan.
Yep.
And for someone in his generation, that's rare, and that's too bad because Maravich was such a great ball player. But Dickow has patterned to some degree his style of play, what he would like to do, although I don't think anybody can pattern themselves after a Maravich. But he's watched all of his tapes, has every Pete Maravich basketball card ever made.
He, one thing I got on him early this year was the fact that he wears those little tiny socks. As you see, Donald Watson is slicing into the basket. You know, one thing I think, and Oregon has been trying to do this, is I think on the perimeter, you need to jump switch on these guys. See, and there's Madden trailing right down the lane right there.
Watts with the hoop in the hack with 21 points. The foul on A.D. Smith, his third. Donald with a chance to complete the three-point play.
And Ernie Kent saying, hey, the guy caught the ball and jumped into my guy who's waiting in the lane. Where's he supposed to go?
Donald closing in on his career high, which is 28 points, so only 6 points away with 5:30 left in the game. And the Dogs up by 7 over the Ducks, actually up by 10 over the Ducks, who really need to get it going here shortly. Femmerling with the overplay, knocking it away. Harry Kent really working the officials.
Exactly. See, there's another bad shot by Roseman. That's 2 bad shots he's taken in a row. You're Bob Benner saying, no, get it out. Use the clock. You're playing Oregon. You're playing the clock right now, just under 5 minutes. And Todd McCall is still on the bench, which is a big plus for the Huskies.
Oregon certainly has not cashed in on Todd's absence. Walcott missing, Smith with the rebound. Watts with a hack across the wrist.
And I'll tell you why that was called. I couldn't tell whether he got all ball or not, but he came down. You know, and the official from behind, that's all he saw was he came down. Yeah, it looked like
he got him.
Looked like he got a lot of the hand.
Third foul on Watts. Tarek Brown waiting at the bench to return for Oregon. And A.D. Smith heads to the line. 2 for 2 at the line, a total of 10 points, make it 3 for 3. And Tarek apparently waiting to come in for A.D. Smith.
You know, Rosemont just came out of the game. Ernie Kent took him out. And instead of sitting down, he went and put down at the end of the bench. You know, he's not happy, but you know, you got to, when you're the point guard, it's not that you take the shots, it's the shots that you take. You got to get everybody else involved first.
Luton bumped from behind by Curry, and Dion will go to the line.
And every coach will tell you, don't foul the jump shooter. You know, especially Dion Luton right now, who is 0 for the game. You know, make him earn it.
And you see Dion well below his average. Both of those points coming at the line, where he shoots 69%. Be sure and watch Fox Sports Northwest tonight, Monday through Fridays on Fox Sports Northwest. This week, sports trivia coming your way, nightly prizes. You won't want to miss it. Monday through Fridays, 7 o'clock, Fox Sports Northwest tonight.
Hey, who's the guy that hosts that show?
I hear he's good.
He's a handsome young man.
Well, that's really a subjective situation.
Yeah, you can pay me later.
10 points. Washington in front as we approach 4 minutes left to play. Brown can't get it to go. Hartenstein missing as well. Madden. Brown fouled on the three-point attempt, or was it a three?
It is three.
It is a three.
And there's an example. You know, Tarek didn't know whether he wanted to really take that three-point shot or not. Just kind of got it up there, and Walcott fouled him. Those are the kind of plays coaches just look at each other and go, why did he do that? I'm serious. They have no clue. It's like when you tell your team that we're not shooting anything but lay-ins, we're going to spread the floor, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Some guy comes down and fires a 20-footer. You know? And what he does is when the coach asks him, what were you doing? He says, well, coach, I was going to ice the game for us. You know, then you lose in overtime or something like that.
Well, you were a player once. You know what it's about. All right, Tom.
But I lived with a coach, and I knew that when I messed up, and I'm not talking about my dad. I get grilled every night from my mother. Are you kidding me? Why'd you do that? Can you miss that free throw? But, Mom, I made 10 of them. Yeah, but you missed one.
Tarek Brown with a trifecta at the free throw line, pulling his Ducks within 7. Stretch run coming up between the Dogs and the Ducks on Fox Sports Northwest. Washington leading Oregon by 7 in Seattle at Edmondson Pavilion, along with Dave Harshman. I'm Tom Glasgow. Let's talk strategy the rest of the way, David. I think Washington has to feel pretty good about the fact they've got McCullough back and rested for this stretch.
That's what I was going to say. They got the starting 5 back on the floor. Oregon comes back with Tarek Brown and Shane, and then in the front court they've got Flo Hartenstein in there with Madden. But A.D. Smith, they're doing just what I thought they would do, picking up full court, which I think you got to do that. Keep people in front of you. Work hard not to give the Huskies an open look, but don't trail over the picks. That's their biggest problem because of the slashing of Watts and Luton. There's the switch on the baseline right that time.
5-second count. Closely guarded, Jan Wooten, and that's a turnover. Giving the ball, much to Bob Bender's disbelief, to the Oregon Ducks.
I think Bob wants an explanation because once you penetrate the timeline there, or where it used to be the timeline, as long as you're going to the basket, the count goes off.
Madden going for 3, getting it in Oregon, putting the heat on the Huskies again. Now down by just 4. And Henry Madden leading the way for Oregon now with 15 points.
That's a big call there on that 5-second closely guarded, because I thought once you went to the basket, you could even dribble it back out if you got cut off.
Well, these teams put on a great finish a year ago in Seattle. We'll see if we get another one like it today. Luton going to the hoop. We'll see if they call the foul on the shot or prior to the shot.
That has hurt Oregon all game long as Luton turned the corner right here. There's Madden with the inside, or they get Tarek Brown.
Tarek Brown with his 3rd.
But see, Tarek is checking. See, now, here's one thing I would say. Tarek's checking the least likely score for the Huskies in Jan Wooten. So what you need to do is you need to sag off, you need to help, and then if they kick the ball to your man, then you recover and you're still underneath them.
Saw Chris Thompson right there checking in for Jan Wooten. Luton shooting 2 regardless because Washington now in the double bonus. Dion getting 1 of the 2, and the Dogs up by 5, 60-55. Well, execution on offense now critical for both teams, but particularly for Oregon with the deficit. Madden coming off the pick, and Femerling just creaming Tarek Brown.
I think if I was that size, I might run over a few little guys too, just to let them know I'm around. Not in that situation, though.
Double bonus, so Brown to shoot 2.
A.D. Smith, the leading free throw shooter on this Oregon team at 81%, but Tarek Brown, 78%, 78.3.
And in his last trip to the stripe, after getting fouled on the three-point shot, made all 3 free throws.
Like you said, McShane not a good free throw shooter, so they want to keep it out of his hands.
14 points for Brown. Washington with the ball, up 3. McCullough in position to get the ball, but Luton didn't throw it to him. Dion instead goes for the jumper and can't get the bounce. Hartenstein with the rebound, Ducks in business. A three-pointer ties the game.
Well, you said it, another typical Washington-Oregon game.
Plenty of time on the shot clock at 15. Madden going for the tie and gets it. Henry Madden.
I tell you what,
Ducks are feeling it right
he
now.
drilled the 25-foot line drive. That ball didn't go more than 10 feet 6 in the air. Just a straight line drive right down the heart of the Huskies.
And Oregon's leading scorer on the season. The Ducks leading scorer in this game with 18, tied at 60, under 2 minutes to play. Watts working on McShane. Into McCullough, hammered by A.D. Smith. He'll make Todd Earnham at the line.
Smart foul. You can't let Todd get the ball up to the basket and give him the bonus. The last time out came at 3:52, and that's 2 minutes ago when there's 1:50 left, and it was 59-52 Huskies. So it's been an 8-1 run by the Ducks to this point.
Well, look at percentage-wise, McCullough doing great, but it's a lack of opportunities in this ball game as he gets the first free throw.
Exactly.
Putting his team up by 1. And the junior from Winnipeg.
Both teams in the double bonus now. And now a little offensive defensive substitution. You got McCullough coming out, Thalo Green coming in. Match up defensively better because with A.D. Smith in the ball game.
Chris Thompson guarding McShane. Dribbles the ball right off his foot. Just put it right off the right shoe.
And now McCullough's coming back in. They can get him there in time.
And they do.
Todd hadn't even sat down yet. These types of plays kill you as a coach.
Kicked it right out. 4 ties, 6 lead changes in this game. 1:25 left to play. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Thompson wide open.
That's the first time I've seen him make Watts kick the ball to the other man, the point guard, for the shot.
Ernie Kent will take a timeout and talk it over. Triple ones left to play. 1 minute, 11 seconds. We got a good one cooking. Stick with us. Ernie Kent and Bob Bender hoping to make the right calls down the stretch. Well, if you're just joining us, you've been missing some good basketball, but you're in time to see what could be a tremendous finish. Washington leading Oregon by 2, 62-60, with 1:11 left to play. And David, I think clearly the story for Oregon in the second half, wiping out an 11-point halftime deficit, has been their three-point shooting over these second 20 minutes.
6 for 10, 60%, 2 for 8 the first half. So you get real healthy with those threes. And the Huskies have only taken 2 3-point attempts this half, and they haven't made either one of them. There you see it right there.
Numbers.
Rebounding, 33-28 Ducks.
Oregon basketball, 28 seconds on the shot clock, plenty of time. A.D. Smith, the high post. Hartenstein going in, rejected by Femmerling. German against German, and Patrick wins that battle.
I was going to say, just by his countryman, big time play right there.
Watts had an inkling, but backed off. This time he will let it go and miss, and Smith gets the rebound. It was just too tempting. And
look at Bob Bender. Did you see Bob?
Yeah, Donald White.
Did you hear what I said earlier about a guy said he's going to ice the game? I mean, that's kind of the same thing right there. Bob going, why? What are you doing that for? We're trying to run the clock down, and if anything, especially at home, You want to take the ball to the basket because you're on your home court.
You know, he's in that situation, though, and it's like the basket's screaming at him. Dino, shoot it towards me, Dino.
But that's the time. That's the time that if Bob Bender could have, he'd have run out and tackled him before he got the shot off.
Unless, of course,
you know what? Those are the kind of ones where you tell your big guys to go block your own guy's shot, but just get the block after that.
Well, Ernie Kent loved it. As you can see, Bob Bender still can't figure it out. 40 seconds left. Oregon with the ball down 2. Madden. A collision with Thompson, and the block called on Chris Thompson. Henry Madden to the line to shoot 2 with a chance to tie the game. David Henry Madden making the smart decision that time not to settle or look for the perimeter shot, but to go strong to the hole. And if he doesn't get the hoop, maybe he gets the hack and he goes to the line, where he has been successful tonight.
He's been the man. You know, I was just going to say, I saw that right there, is the fact that when you're tired late in the game and he's got a sweat-soaked jersey on, you got to get more legs and more lift of the ball into the shot. And that's exactly what he didn't get, and he was short.
McCullough back in, Green to the Husky bench. Madden hitting 1 out of 2, Dogs up 1. Dante Quinine returning to the Oregon lineup. Ernie Kent will take a 20-second timeout.
That's a smart play, and I'll tell you why. His kids looked confused right then. They didn't know who was going to check whom and what kind of defense they wanted them in.
Right.
And I think right now you're going to see Oregon pick up full court, but try to make the Huskies catch the ball in front of them and go the full 94 feet.
Shot clock is toast. 33 seconds left to play. Think about what Oregon's strategy is going to be now on defense. Do they go for the foul? Border Wars continue tonight with live West Coast Conference basketball. Gonzaga taking on Portland. That game's up next. Then conclude tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock with the Oregon women hosting Jamie Red and the Huskies. Border Wars basketball this weekend only on Fox Sports Northwest. So, how long do you play straight up defense to get the steal, or do you foul right away?
No, no, I don't think you do. I think, you know, when you're down, you can play either way, but right now I was going to say the Huskies got the 2 big guys in, so what you want to do here, first of all, is try to make one of the 2 bigger guys catch the basketball, preferably Femerling, and then foul him where you do have some time left. But I don't think you can let the clock run down to under 15 seconds before a foul is committed.
Oregon playing it straight for the steal right now, and Thompson in trouble in the backcourt, double teamed. Luton, last touch the basketball. It's Ducks basketball, so Ernie Kent got the defense he wanted. Bob Bender didn't get the foul he wanted.
Well, you did. What you said is exactly correct. That's why you don't want to foul right away. What you tell your guys, we're going to play over the top. We're going to make them go to the baseline to catch the basketball. Then we're going to really pressure them. We're going to try to go for the steal. If we can't get the steal, then maybe we go for the foul.
Hey, David, bottom line, even if Luton's able to save that ball, they don't get it over in 10 seconds.
No, they
it was
don't.
going to be Duck basketball anyway.
Exactly. It's 10 seconds right now. It was 33.5.
33 coming back.
There's the inbound pass. See, what you got to do is you got to get rid of it right away, which he did. But see, now what Chris Thompson needed to do is to try to drive the ball down the floor.
But he really dribbles into a corner, and the problem is not so much Brown, but Madden coming over.
Yep. Well, and nobody else. Here's the other thing, and not to point fingers or anything, but you got to run when somebody gets in trouble. You can't stand in an area and say, I'm open, I'm open. You got to run right at the basketball, even if you got to take the ball out of the guy's hands.
So Oregon now with a chance to get the win, which would be 5 in a row. It hasn't happened for quite some time in Eugene. In fact, it's been 23 years. You go back to Ernie Kent's junior year at Oregon, 1975.
You know, let's speculate again here. I say this. If Oregon comes out on top in this game, to me, it's not a case of Washington giving the game away as much as Oregon going out and taking the game. I think Oregon's really stepped it up the second half. As you can see defensively, Washington this half has only shot 32%.
All right, if you're Ernie Kent, who do you want to take the ball to the hoop or shoot that perimeter shot? I mean, they've gotten back into this shooting threes. Do you let Madden go to work?
I think Madden has got to be the guy, but you know, you got more than one option there. You got Tarek Brown that can do it. You got A.D. Smith. I'll tell you what, if one of the big guys, and they took McCullough out of the game, the Huskies did, so they brought Phalo Green in to check Madden. But you got A.D. Smith that can shoot the ball too.
Brown to inbound to Madden, out to McShane.
Pick and roll on the top for Tarek Brown.
Brown working on Watts, getting a pick from Smith. 10 seconds left. Kent yelling out to Tarek Brown, driving in, forcing up a shot, can't get it. Loose ball, last touched by Washington. Oregon will have a chance. 3.3 left to play.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with what had happened.
Now look, interesting situation. Ernie Kent saying, I don't want a timeout. Bob was going to take a timeout. Now I guess we don't have a timeout. They're trying to figure it out. Bob Garibaldi in the middle of this, and Ernie Kent will take the timeout.
Well, I don't know how many timeouts they got left. They sure burned a lot. Here's the thing that happens when you go to one guy. Watch the ball being dribbled. Anytime the ball is being dribbled, other people are standing around. And I say, I know that you want it in a good ball handler's hands, but you know what happens is you get staggered offensively. So then you try to beat people off the dribble on a one-on-one situation. And when you're smaller like this, you got people to help, and that's a tough shot.
Well, Brown had a man that he could beat in Green, but Watts was over quickly to give the help defense.
That's what I'm going to say, but he's got to try to get the shot up over bigger people all the time. So I think in that situation, maybe Henry Madden or somebody a little bigger would be the guy. But, I'm surprised they don't have Jamar Curry in there. He's a senior. He's the guy that's a slasher to the basket.
Well, you don't have much time for slashing right now. It's basically.
No, I meant
no, I understand.
the last time out.
But I'm saying now you're in a catch and shoot. You can maybe take a dribble or two or get a pick and let it go. That 3.3 can seem awfully long, especially when you're the team up by one play in defense.
Right now, what they need to do is they need to get a pick by a big guy to free up a little guy. And that's what Washington does on their baseline out of bounds play. They bring Watts off one of the big guys to try to create a switching situation at best. If not, then he's probably going to come wide open. But, 3.3, you got a chance to catch it and get a good look as long as nobody's in your face.
Oregon outscoring Washington 11-5. Since the 4:37 mark left to play, as you see the Huskies come back out on the court with their defensive instructions. Ernie Kent still talking to his Ducks. He'll send them out. 3.3 seconds left to play. Washington with a 62-61 lead. One of these teams will have their hearts broken on Valentine's Day. Tarek Brown to inbound. Madden, a wide open look for the ball game, short. And the Huskies survive. Great contest between these two teams. Slick will go home happy. His son leading the way today for the Huskies with 22 points. A big, big win for Bob Bender and his team as they make a run at an NCAA tournament berth. Gonzaga and Portland up next for Dave Harshman. I'm Tom Glasgow. Thanks for watching.